this is Gypsy. I'm finally free.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is embracing life as a free woman. The 32-year-old who was released from custody last week takes to Instagram December 31st to give her followers an update on her post-prison life and thank them for all their support. Wearing a New Orleans Saints jersey and sporting a fresh set of nails and lashes, the Louisiana native had this to say.
Hey everyone, this is Gypsy. I'm finally free. I just want to send a quick video to thank everyone for the massive amount of support that I've been getting on social media. Everyone has been really, really nice and supportive, and I really appreciate that. It's nice to be home. I'm back home in Louisiana, enjoying a beautiful day outside.
And since her release, Gypsy has not shied away from the spotlight. Instead, she's been embracing her strong social media presence by posting regularly to her now 5 million Instagram followers. With her bio reading, public figure, public speaker, author, advocating awareness about Munchausen syndrome by proxy. Just yesterday, she shared a sweet pic of her and husband Ryan Scott Anderson kissing in what appears to be their home, decorated with a pink neon sign that reads, Ryan and Gypsy. She captions the post, a New Year's Eve kiss with my hubby. And she lets fans know that they'll be able to get the inside scoop on their marriage very soon, saying, watch how our love story began on the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard airing on Lifetime. Gypsy is set to tell her story in her own words in the new Lifetime docuseries. It will go into detail about the years she spent in the care of her mother, Claudine Dee Dee Blanchard, who she claims abused her. Gypsy was first arrested with her ex-boyfriend Nicholas Godejohn after her mother's remains were found in her Springfield, Missouri home with multiple stab wounds in June 2015. She pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but after serving 7 years for her role in the death of her mother, she was granted parole. You can see Gypsy's full story in the upcoming series, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, premiering January 5th on Lifetime.
And again, just thank you guys for all the support, and keep watching. Okay, bye.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna get to it. Hold on, Bobby. Welcome everyone. Ruby Slippers is here. Happy New Year to you as well, Ruby. And
Ruby.
Of course,
there it is.
You go. There's your that's your cue, buddy.
Yeah. Is your destination unknown? I love the name Ruby. Always have. Great name.
It is Trill Crime time. No bullshit zone. We may not, unless you are an adult in these times, in in this time that we're in now, then and you can understand that other adults can have a different perspective, have a different I don't know, just opinions of things without being butthurt, like unfortunately we see in the true crime community. I'm not going to speak on that. If you'd like to hear what I had to say about that, well, we all had to say about that, right there on our YouTube page. Check out the Mornings with the Dread, and we talked a little bit about that.
Pull up your big girl panties and keep it moving if you can't handle it.
Yeah, because
that's the way I feel about it at this point.
Yeah, with this case, as we've seen, those supporting Gypsy are now called fans.
5 million.
5 million of those fans. And I think to kick it off, we need to for one, why is she even out of prison? You made a great point, Bobby. Give us a comparison so we can compare and contrast why we feel it's wrong that she's even out of prison.
Well, whether it's wrong, I guess, is up to the individual or not. But all I could say is she is charged with the same crime that Charles Manson was sentenced to death for.
Yes.
Just saying. She told somebody to kill
manipulated
for her. That's what
junkie,
they said
yeah.
about Charles Manson. He got the death penalty originally for it and spent the rest of his life in prison for the same exact thing. And,
Yes.
and how could anybody say for a second that Charles Manson wasn't mentally ill? He was raped as a kid. He was brought up by a prostitute, beat the shit out of him. He was switched, between this family, all over the place. He's every bit as fucked up as this girl says she is. But Charles Manson
Listen
fucking
to him
right.
for 5 fucking minutes. You can tell that man is not right in the head. That's all it takes.
Right.
5 minutes of listening to any conversation that man has had.
Brilliant in a psycho kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
kind of way,
Yeah.
CW said, I don't know how I feel about this girl. She was horribly abused. She manipulated Nicholas. Her mother was awful and deserved to go to prison. Gypsy needs a lot of therapy, not all this media attention.
Well, let me just say this then. If her mother is so guilty of manipulation and stuff, which she is, horrible person, there's no doubt. How is this Gypsy any different by manipulating her boyfriend to go and kill her mother? Did she learn from the best, or was she taking over the family business?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And just the absolute lack of remorse after the fact. I mean, you listened to that from the bathroom, admittedly, and there was zero remorse, zero any kind of emotion involved in it. So I could definitely see some type of sociopathic, tendencies there. And that is, like we said earlier, a disservice to society, in my opinion, to just release someone like that and to not have any type of therapy or some type of help for that person if you're just going to put them back on the street.
Right.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Right.
She had the cognitive mind to manipulate her boyfriend.
Absolutely, Ruby. 100%. Yeah, and I'm really strong against the West Memphis 3. I believe those boys did that. Okay, I've read the court transcripts and stuff, and there was a lot of things kept out of those documentaries that convinced everybody this girl is manipulating everybody just the same, I think.
Yep.
But the thing is, did she spend enough time to make you happy or not? The West Memphis 3 spent 20 years. Was that enough for killing 3 young boys to you? This girl, I don't know how long she served, but was it enough for
8 years, I think?
Was that enough for having her mother killed? Did Charles Manson deserve to be let out of prison early for doing the same thing? I think people listen to her voice, and I think that she is still manipulating after prison myself. And I think a lot of people are jumping on that bandwagon. Myself.
1000%. I can't agree more.
Yeah.
It's because you're awesome, Kelly.
Look, I'm getting all the love today. I'll take it.
Yeah, Carlos is great too. Like I said before the show, y'all make a great couple, man. It's a great dude. I can't wait to get together. It's gonna be fun.
And really, what's I guess at the crux of this whole case, and I'm pretty sure that our viewers, those who have subbed the channel, and thank you for that. You are allowed to spread our show around. I'm bringing back the finger guns and the David Hasselhoff finger guns. I'm bringing them back. 2024. At the crux of this case, which Dee Dee Blanchard, Gypsy's mom, was murdered on June 14th, 2015. She was found at her house just outside of Springfield, Missouri. And we have to understand who we're talking about here, because this case has got a lot of moving parts. That's why it's pretty common to hear, I don't know what to think about this case exactly, because there are so many moving parts. And
but are there
mom? I'm sorry,
but are there really?
What?
I mean, is there really a lot of moving? I don't know. I guess I'll just go ahead and just state my position here.
If you disagree with me, I can hit the remove button.
I'm saying
that. Buddy.
How dare you have an opinion?
It's
Dang it,
like
Bobby.
three people, you got the mother making the most money. She put together this whole scheme. The kid obviously went along with it because, like you said, at any point in time, she could have just stood up and
Yep.
proved to everybody, So she went along with it. She got this new boyfriend now. She manipulated into killing her mother. It seems to me like you got a trifecta. Three's a crowd. That term came up for a reason. It seems to me like they wanted to get rid of the big dog, making 50% of the cash and split another 25% between themselves and take over the scam. That's what it seems like to me. And they had to do away with the mother to get that done. Yeah, this girl is manipulative as hell. I think the whole family is. I don't believe. Look at the doctors that got. Like we were saying before the show, Otis. How do you go to a doctor and not have them just do that little thing on your knee to where it shows that you have reflexes? And how do you not do an MRI? How does somebody claim I have leukemia and they don't check that out to find out what kind of chemo or radiation they're going to do on you?
And
No blood work,
yeah.
no nothing. I mean, you're asked to donate to children's hospitals who, do these, wonderful things, and these, what is it? The Shriners Hospital with the kids with cancer. We see those commercials all the time. Well, if you watch a lot of TV, mainstream TV, you probably see them. You see them when you're streaming stuff too. I've seen those ads pop up. So
my mom died earlier this year from cancer. My brother has cancer. I've been through this process several times now. If you go to the doctor and it shows that you have some kind of cancer, man, the treatments never stop. You're going to hear about it. They're going to keep reevaluating you and stuff like that. They manipulated everybody. I think everybody here is a manipulator.
And no
myself.
doubt there's plenty of people to blame. I mean, yes, the doctor should have caught this stuff. The mom was to blame. But at the same time, like we discussed earlier, you make your own decisions. And I think a lot of people get manipulated by that acting that she did for her mom, that role she was playing. So it's, she didn't know what was going on. No, she was at the mentality of a 22, 23-year-old woman. She was not at the mentality of an 8, 9-year-old like she was playing. She had the mentality of an adult. She knew what she was doing. And yes, she had a father in a whole nother state she could have called. She admitted that herself in an interview. I could have just called my dad and said, can you come pick me up? This is what is happening to me. I don't have anything wrong with me. I can stand up and walk. This is not true. I will show you I can stand up and walk. She admitted that herself. And I think the bottom line is people are so manipulated by also HBO and their program that they put out. But not that I'm shitting on HBO. There's a lot of things that I watch on there that are awesome. But the way that they, again, pushed a narrative, the narrative was, feel bad for her. Feel bad for her. She was abused. Tons of people are abused. They don't go out murdering people. Okay. And you had it out. And if you watch, sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
There are other episodes in other series that you can watch, like Killer Cases. That was another one we talked about, and it's a different viewpoint. And you see her manipulation and her planning, her calculated planning of this murder, and how much she just didn't give a shit about what was going to happen to her mom, even when she listened to her begging for help from the bathroom. After the fact, you're in a hotel room talking about, he's eating a brownie, he's going to eat me next. There was no remorse. There was no anything there. And that is sociopathic and calculated. I don't care what anyone says. Bottom line is you need to watch more than just that HBO version and realize there is more to this girl than what HBO is putting out there.
That's why it's exactly why I brought up the West Memphis 3 and the Paradise Lost movies, because I was completely fooled by those. Those movies had me going, man, those kids are not guilty at all, till I read the transcripts of the court hearings. And it totally, there's no doubt in my mind they did it. So people have to look at both sides. And it's easy to be manipulated when you got people just telling you one side of the story and that's all you're hearing, man. People definitely have to see the other side. Those HBO specials and stuff, they're trying to make money, man. They don't care whether they're right or wrong. It's just what it is. You have to do the investigation. That's why we call ourselves the true crime community. We try to investigate, look at both sides, look at every side.
Yep. And what's heartbreaking, and I'm not saying that the other person is innocent by any means, but go to John and Stout in in jail for life without parole.
Right.
And if you look at the difference in their mentality, he was autistic and operated at the level of a 15-year-old. As we know, if you know anything about psychological background or how the brain develops, at 15 years old, a boy is unable to make reasonable decisions until they're about 23, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So mentally, he was not able to fully, I guess, make the right decisions. Yes, he
Right.
could have said no. He could have stayed away from her. He could have said this
Yeah.
is a bad idea. But I also think there was a very seductive side to Gypsy that she played along with as well. He wanted love. He wanted attention. And he said, you do this. She said, you do this for me. You got me for life. We'll run away together. That this is your ultimate, proof to me that you
Yep.
love me. It was very evident in
Yep.
a lot of the things that she did, and he's not innocent, but why is she walking? That's
Yep.
I guess that's my big thing is, yes, you were abused, yes, you have mental health issues, so at this point I don't believe you're safe to be walking on the streets.
Right
And
on.
I don't know, it just, the whole case is just mind-blowing to me. What she went through was hell, no doubt.
Yeah.
But she's not the only person that's gone through that, and they didn't choose murder.
Right on.
So
No, absolutely. What I know, her education level, she never went to school.
second grade, I believe, is what she went to
Second
school, and then
grade,
they stopped
okay,
sending
yeah,
her.
because
Yeah.
I think I don't think her mom put her in public schools, did she?
No, but socially, I know they said she was operating at normal levels. So I understand to a certain extent, yeah, not having the interaction may hinder some of that, but overall she was not mentally retarded like they were saying. There was no mental retardation, there was no delay in any of her mental abilities. Now socially, like I said, she might have been a little off, but overall her right from wrong knowing was on point. She knew
Yeah,
right
it
from
wasn't
wrong.
hindered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I was mentioning before the show, I think the one thing that baffles me more than anything, and Bobby, you brought it up briefly, was the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
How did this slip through the cracks? How do you take and manipulate, a doctor? I mean, here, let me just put it to you this way. Gypsy said when she was 7 or 8, she was riding on her grandfather's motorcycle when they were involved in a minor accident where she obtained an abrasion on her knee. Her mother said that doctors had to give her a wheelchair she would need to use. All right, so what doctor in their right mind says, oh, okay, you got a little an abrasion, there's no broken bones, let that heal, some antibiotic ointment, basically a Band-Aid, bandage fix. And what doctor in their right mind is going to supply a fucking wheelchair? I mean, I don't believe she didn't have the money to take and do this and get these wheelchairs. Were they donated? I mean, it just really blows my mind that that's what happened.
Doctors definitely dropped the ball on her, and there was one, and I cannot think of his name, I believe it started with an F, that they interviewed in one of the shows that I watched. I don't remember if it's the HBO show or the other one, but I mean, they definitely dropped the ball. He mentioned in his paperwork that he believed that there was Munchausen by proxy issues in that family, that he did believe that the mom was saying there were issues that were not there, that it was evident he did not believe the child was paralyzed from the waist down. There were certain things that led him to believe that was not true, or that she didn't have certain ailments that they were claiming. And he put that in his documentation, but he never followed through with that. He didn't follow through with social services. He didn't continue to push forward. And what his reasoning was, well, a bunch of other doctors in the past have said that it's true and they've taken mom's word for it. So why push forward? Because there is a child now living in those conditions. That's why you push forward. And had that happened, maybe things would have been different. She would have been manipulated for quite as long. But either way, she didn't need to murder someone. There were other outs. And I don't know.
It kills me.
It's a fucked up situation.
It's messed up.
No.
Missouri is the show me state. She didn't have to show anybody shit, did she? You know what I mean?
Right. And speaking of which,
Live up to its name.
Yeah, I mean, Gypsy was asked, why didn't you say anything to the doctor? And she's like, well, I thought that nobody would believe me.
How do
Why
they not
didn't you tell
believe
the
you standing
doctors you
up?
could walk?
Yeah.
Here's something
How
that
could
you
they not
could have
know?
done, Gypsy. Pay attention. Here's something. I'm gonna teach you and your fans something right here. This is all you had to do. I know it's unbetrillable.
The biggest part of that video that you played at the beginning that honestly pissed me off, I apologize again for my cat that is obsessed with being on this show, was the end. Keep watching. This is not a reality TV show, sweetheart. Right. Chill with that. We don't need to keep watching. If anything, like one of the comments said, and I think you said you were going to read some of them, you should be living low key right now until you get the therapeutic help to get your mind straight. Not out here like, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me.
Yeah,
hey, look at me. Watch me here.
Right.
It's just I can't play along with it. And I get there's a certain extent where abuse can affect your mind and your mentality and whether or not you feel like you can escape. I've been there. I have PTSD from it, like we talked about. I have been in an abusive situation where I didn't initially see a way out. But in the end, there is a way out. You admitted there was a way out. You admitted that you had thought about the way out and you chose this path instead. And that to me that says a lot. And the fact that you're look at me, here's my fans, make me famous, bring me more money in like my mom did by me living this lifestyle. Let's live another scam.
It looks pretty, it looks pretty just clean to me as far as the mob tactics that are going on. You got somebody making 50% of the cut. You want to be the new crime boss, you got to take out the old crime boss.
Yeah,
that's what they did to Mama, so she could take over the scheme with her new man, and they could take all the money. It's tale as old as time. Really? She didn't give a shit about her mom.
Yeah. CW says Dee did shop around for doctors and claimed all their paperwork was lost, but did new doctors not do any tests?
Right.
Just start handing out cancer drugs and removing salivary glands.
Typically when somebody says I can't walk, the doctors want to find out why you can't walk.
Yeah. And the stomach tube, like that's not, I took care of a kid that had a feeding tube. That is not a small surgery. That's a very dangerous surgery. So for you to not have any background before making that decision was mind-blowing to see that. And I can't imagine what she went through going through that. But at the same time, I don't think that she minded the attention. I don't think she minded going to Disneyland and living this princess lifestyle she wanted to live. And so it is hard. I get she was a kid, and there was a lot of shit that happened to her, but the doctors dropped the ball, and the bottom line is you could have done more too. And I don't know. There's just so many things with the doctor situation. They said that everything that came from mom's mouth. Everything came from mom's mouth. And then also there was a lawyer that was talking about the paperwork that could be pulled. I believe it was Go to John's lawyer. It was either Go to John's or Gypsy's. Said that he was able to pull the paperwork, and what he realized is mom was actually trying to pull all the medical records as well, and actually found the paperwork where the one doctor had said that he believed there was signs of Munchausen by proxy. So she was aware of that as well. So that's why she continued to move around. As the biological father of Gypsy said, every time we went to try to do something about it, they moved again. So then they were just manipulating another set of doctors. But at that point, if you see that many lists of doctors involved and you can pull the medical records, behind the scenes, why wasn't someone? Why wasn't someone stopping it? I don't know.
There was no red flags, it seemed. Ruby says, I believe if a doctor questioned or denounced the illness, mom would go to a doctor that would agree with mom's diagnosis.
And
absolutely. And, that begs the question, what do parents just diagnose their child with leukemia?
Yep.
I mean, do they diagnose themselves with their kids with, now all of a sudden, why do we need doctors?
Yeah.
we got people like this, you know.
Well, I'll tell you,
and as you mentioned, I'll give you 1 second, Bobby.
take your time.
They, you know, the crux of this again is, I believe, the Munchausen, you know, syndrome of proxy. That is really what the foundation is. Now, I get that you can manipulate, you know, a small child's mind very easily.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But I think to a certain age, and you made, you know, slight mention of it, Kelly, at a certain age, when she was 8, she was actually 10. She wasn't even the age that people thought she was. You know, there comes a certain time where you're 14, 15 years old. Now, she didn't kill her mom until what, 18 or 19?
I think she was 19, I believe.
19.
Or no, was she a little older than that? Was she 20, early 20s? Because she was in for 8 years. So yeah, I believe early 20s.
Okay, early 20s. There comes a time when you're, you know, 14, 15 years old that you realize, hey, wait a minute, I can stand up.
Mhm.
Hey, wait a minute, all these things are not wrong with me. Yes, she probably had symptoms of other shit because of all the medication. You can see the pictures of her medicine cabinet. It's like a pantry.
Yeah.
From floor to ceiling, almost, of just all these different kinds of medication that her mom is feeding Gypsy. And how'd her mom get them? From these inadequate, you know, doctors just handing shit out like it's nothing on mom's diagnosis. That in and of itself is criminal. And I'll stop. Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, no. I was listening, man. It's good. I was just thinking, you know, that people might not realize how common quack doctors are. I live in a town not too far from where Otis lives. And I live in a town of about 2,800 people, but we had 2 different doctors arrested and are spending time in prison right now for giving out pain pills to people for nothing more than a sprained wrist or a hurt elbow. Doctors get kickbacks on a lot of stuff too. And this might have very well been where it started. They could have went to a doctor or something, and the doctor said, well, I think your kid might have this or this, and that might have started it all. You know, just because they have the title of a doctor or somebody wears a tie doesn't mean you have to believe these fucking people, man. You know, criminals come in all shapes, sizes, and professions. And who knows what's going on here, but it should be pretty obvious that if somebody comes to me, if I'm a doctor, and says, man, I can't walk, I'm going to put you on an MRI table right away. We're going to find out why you can't walk.
Right.
You know,
and there were so many family members behind the scenes that are coming out now, you know, for this HBO series to get their name out there saying, oh, well, the mom was horrible. The mom did this and she poisoned, you know, this person prior. So I think she poisoned like the aunt or the sister or something. The dad's on there saying what a piece of shit the mom was. Why didn't you guys step in? You're specifically saying we could tell there was something wrong with Gypsy. We could tell that she wasn't being treated properly. If you knew all these things about the mom, why didn't you step in? And that's the thing. Really, things should have been done before it escalated to this point. But in the end, the bottom line is you now have a person that committed this crime. They chose to do it regardless of what they went through in their past. And now she's freely walking the streets where she can continue to manipulate people. She's doing it firsthand right now. She's manipulating the media. She's manipulating anybody that's watching this right now. And you know how I also know that? Because if you listen to her speak about Go to John, she says, oh, well, you know, he got in trouble before for, you know, masturbating in public. He's a sick man. You know, he was into BDSM.
At McDonald's.
And he, you know,
watching porn.
BDSM.
8 hours, they said. That's an entire McDonald's shift. How do you have that much stamina, sir?
Where do you think they get their special sauce?
Oh God. But that does not make you a murderer. That does not make you yes, it's weird. I'll 1000% say that. But there's people that are into BDSM that aren't out murdering people. Okay, there's a fine line there. I don't even think it's fine. I think it's quite a big line there that's drawn where people say that. And the fact that she needed to point that out to make him seem like he was a criminal person and she was innocent shows me the manipulation at first hand. That right there says, I'm going to manipulate you to take this attention off of me and put it on this guy
Right.
so that I'm still the victim somehow. I'm
Yeah.
still the victim regardless.
And, you know, with every murder, everybody always asks, you know, what's the motivation? What is the motivating thing? And does anybody really believe that if Gypsy and her boyfriend would have got away with this, that they wouldn't still be running the same scheme? You know, getting freebies for her supposed ailments. It seems to me like the motivation is definitely money, and Big Mama was taking too big of a bite. That's what it seems like to me. I could be way off.
Even if the bottom line was she just wanted to get away from an abusive situation, say she really was just sick of her mom's shit. She wanted revenge for the things that her mom put her through. Even if that is the true case behind it, you showed us you could run away. You got on a Greyhound bus, you took your wigs, you took all your bullshit with you took her money, you got out, and you said right from your mouth, I could have called my dad. And your dad admitted that. I'd have came and picked her up. I knew something wasn't right. If she would have just said she'd come with me or that something was wrong, I'd have been there in a heartbeat. You showed and proved your point that there was a way out.
Yep.
And you chose this direction instead. So whether it was revenge, whether it was financial gain, whatever, I don't give a fuck what the motivation was. Bottom line is you killed somebody. And now you're walking free and getting praised for it. And I don't want to see you getting praised for getting your mom killed. That's
100%.
It's sick.
And going back to the Charles Manson comparison, which I think is extremely accurate. Charles Manson became a fucking celebrity.
Yeah.
She's the new Manson.
And now she's turning into, and I guess I agree, wants to be that celebrity. You're going to see, you know, I mean, well, they already said Lifetime TV, a whole thing, you know, about her and all this. And I mean, it's sick. I mean, it's really sickening. I mean,
it's all about attention. Munchausen syndrome is playing these roles to get attention, to get that gratification from people giving you the time of day and giving you that love and affection that you're looking for. And now she's getting it just in a different way. So instead of being that frail little girl in a wheelchair and getting Disney trips, now it's, oh, you know, watch me on here. I'll make my dime off you watching me on YouTube and watching my HBO and watching my Lifetime. And then you want to send this to me in the mail because this is my fresh start. This is my chance to live. So here, send me $1,000 so I can go to the Bahamas for a week because I spent 8 years in jail. That's the next thing. And so it is. It's just her next scam. It's her next Munchausen syndrome. It's her next way of getting that attention that her mom craved and that it seems like she learned, whether it's by you learned behavior or it's just you're truly ingrained in being that type of person. Either way, it's still there. That manipulation is 1,000% there.
Right on. 5 million people being manipulated by the same person who manipulated her boyfriend to kill her mother.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going on and on because people can't think for themselves. West Memphis 3, Paradise Lost. Same story. You know, back in the day when we saw a family like this who was, you know, gathered around crime and using crime and manipulation to make money, we just called them a crime family. And she's a member of a crime family. She's had the balls taken out. Make that money.
I know we'll probably piss a lot of people off by saying this, but to be honest, I don't care. We have we have a brain. We don't just follow like sheep here. We're gonna look at the facts, and we're not lawyers, and yes, we're not detectives. But at the bottom line is we have our own brain. We're gonna do the research on our own, and we're not just gonna blindly follow and say, oh, she still sounds like a little kid. Oh, she was abused. Oh my gosh, she needs this great life now. No, because you still made sure, and it wasn't just a slight murder. For those of you that aren't familiar with the murder, look into the way this woman was killed. She was nearly decapitated. And she listened to that from the bathroom. She opened the door for this kid. She handed him the knife. Well, I mean, he's not a kid. I know I think it's the mental capacity. I keep referring to him as a kid, and that's wrong. But this man, she opened the door for him. She told him how to do it, where to go, what to do, gave him the murder weapon, and listened from the bathroom.
Yep.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, you said it all.
Yeah.
She's going to continue manipulating now. And like I said before, it's just a matter of, do you think 8 years was enough for doing what she did? You know, that's up to each individual, I guess. I personally, I don't care to go on record. Like I said, this is a new year. No bullshit. Bob, 2 Trill. I think she's full of shit. I really do. I think this Gypsy girl is so full of shit. I don't think that's her real voice. I think that she just uses everything as she can to manipulate, man. I'm seeing right through it, man. Tramp. That's what I'm
Well,
calling
she had a good teacher. She had a good teacher,
Mhm.
that's for sure. Like CW says, it's not like Gypsy was as isolated as some abuse victims. Well, she saw medical staff regularly and was at events.
Yeah.
She could have stood up and just said, "Hey, this is bullshit."
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have taken guts, but as she continues, but it's better than killing your mom and going to prison.
But
Yeah.
what legitimate doctor's office are you going to go to, or emergency room, or anything where you're in front of a doctor who thinks that you can't stand up, and you stand up in front of him and say, she is making me do this, that won't call child services, won't prevent you from going back home with that woman?
Yeah.
She would have been saved immediately if she would have just stood up and said, look,
there's I think as I mentioned to you, Bobby, there are 2 main courses of action with a caregiver who has Munchausen. Is one of the first things: remove the child from the situation.
Right.
Yep.
Second, we need to get this person into therapy. And those are the 2 courses of action that are 9 times out of 10 used when this is brought up, and a caregiver, a mother or father, whoever, has this Munchausen, because it is a form of child abuse. I mean, she could have killed,
sure,
Gypsy, numerous times with
reoffend.
all the drugs she was feeding her.
Right.
Yeah. And I definitely think she'll reoffend. And if you want to play devil's advocate, you want to sit back and say, okay, 8 years was enough for what she went through, then do you still believe that she should be walking around without any help? Because to me, you're admitting that she has mental health issues. You're admitting she went through this abuse. So should she be just praised and not actually out here being monitored, being hospitalized for all these issues and getting the help that she needs? Being
She's out of I think she's out on parole. She's still on papers, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So she is, she is being, monitored at some point, I guess. I guess she has to check in or something, I would imagine.
But I don't think anything as far as like therapy or
right.
help is mandated with that. And now it's just, I guess this is her form of therapy, is getting attention.
Yeah.
And so in reality,
I mean, you're feeding the beast at that point. As Ruby says, ask who's getting the profits for the movies. They thought murderers couldn't profit from their crimes.
Yeah. Well, we happen to live in 2023, and it doesn't matter what happens in the movies. If you become a big enough celebrity and get you a nice GoFundMe going, you can make millions.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's sad.
Yeah. And she's technically not the murderer, I guess. So that's what they're saying. And
but didn't he say that? Didn't he say that she did take and stab her mom? Didn't Nicholas say that she did take at one point and stab her mom? I thought I heard that.
I thought it was in one of the interviews too. I was trying to find which show, because I had watched it like months ago before she was released. And I remember I thought there was an interview where he said that as well. And I also thought there was an interview where she said she was present during the murder, but I couldn't find those interviews again. So I don't know if maybe they're not out there anymore, but I thought the same thing. So, I mean, I could be wrong. And if anybody else knows that's listening, please, by all means, send them to us, because I'd like to see them again. But it's funny you say that, because I thought the same thing. But everything that I was finding was her hiding in the bathroom, but listening to it happening. And then she said that she didn't do anything at that time because she was scared he would do it to her. Well, if you were so scared he'd do it to her, why'd you run off with him and have sex with him in hotels and joke about how he's going to do all these things to you? That seems a little strange to me, but
welcome, Hash Brown. I'm a little late in saying hello,
Brown.
But Happy New Year to you, dear.
Absolutely. Hash Brown.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just so much wrong. I mean, you can't find really, a lot of these cases, we can side with, the state, like in the Bill Coker case, Cheryl Coker. We side with the prosecution because he's been their number one suspect. What we don't agree with is the snail's pace that this is going at. While Bill walks around living his best life. We don't like that. We don't like the fact that the grand jury turns it down 3 times. We don't like it. And then flip the coin, Delphi, we're with the defense on this one. So this case, Gypsy, there's no real side to pick, man, other than your own side. Like, man, all you fucks are corrupt. How does how do you even have, a doctorate in medicine?
Right.
And I think the other thing is the only person who wasn't mentally fully competent was Godejohn, and he's the one that got the longest sentence. So if you're feeling that way, why isn't he in a mental institution somewhere then, or hospitalized to get assistance versus thrown in jail for this? Because even prior to this happening, he wasn't mentally at I'm trying to think of the right word, but he wasn't mentally apparently as aware as everybody else included in the situation, whether it was mom or the daughter. So I guess I can't wrap my head around his sentence versus hers. I just can't.
Right. He was manipulated by a family full of manipulators.
Yeah.
But still responsible for his actions.
Oh yeah.
But I agree. I don't get this. Like I said, Charles Manson was supposedly the mastermind. She was the mastermind in this. I know it's different states, different times, everything else. Just don't get it.
Manipulation is manipulation, bottom line. Okay. Right. And when it comes to the sentence that, here we go, comparing, but I think it's a great comparison. It blew my mind when you said it before the show. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that. The mom and as well as Gypsy, both are, guilty of, the same thing that Manson was. Of course, her mom did get the death sentence. Not through a court of law, but she got a death sentence.
Right.
But I do believe that, okay, you set this plan up. You admitted that on the stand, Gypsy. You admitted that. Okay. 8 years, is that really enough? 8 years taken out of your life, and you set up this whole deal. Granted, you weren't the one who had, the knife in hand, or maybe you were. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I'm a Christian. I know not everybody is. I'm a godly man. I love Jesus Christ. That's just the way it is. And I believe in redemption. I believe in your soul being saved and all that. I just am not getting that out of this girl, man. She's still using the same voice. Still seems like she's trying to manipulate. Doesn't seem like she's really learned a lesson. If she come out and said, I praise the Lord, I'm out. I'm so sorry for what I did. It's all my fault. And actually took it in and said, look, I'm responsible for a lot of this. It'd make me feel a lot different than her coming out going, on fuck, and then trying to get more money and stuff. And so I'm put off by her.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, that voice.
Yeah,
nobody's ever had that fucking voice, man. My ex-wife was 4'9", man, a little squirrel. She didn't have a fucking voice like that, man.
I just think we're breeding a dangerous beast by praising this, because now we're saying, oh, you can be famous, you can be a celebrity, you can have people pay your way in life, just kill somebody and act like it was somebody else's fault. Or hey, you were abused, you can get away with killing that abuser, and guess what, we'll pay your way the rest of your life, and we're going to praise you, and you're going to be a celebrity, so let's make this happen. That's the beast we're breeding in this society by praising this, in my opinion. I truly believe that this is not going to be a healthy outcome, and I think that if she does not get mental help, and she does not get therapy, and she does not work through these issues, especially for being a manipulative person, whether it's intentional or not, you've learned this behavior, and if you don't get help for it, you're going to continue to manipulate. And I think in the end, it's going to be dangerous in some way, whether it's deadly or whatever have you, there's going to be a negative outcome, I believe. I really, really do. I
Right on.
just don't think this is a safe situation at all.
No,
Right on.
it's not. I mean, it paves a dangerous road if this is left undone, because who knows? I mean, she's still young in life. She's got a lot of time to manipulate and have somebody else murdered who pisses her off, because that's her way of dealing with a problem. Apparently,
there's no
she had
accountability.
logical, sensible, outlets. Could have called my dad. Could have done this. You could have done a lot of things. You could have just ran away with this kid and went to your dad's, or got a hold of your dad
She's a fucking
at that point, but you didn't. You chose to, have your little patsy boyfriend, okay, and have him do it all out of love. And as Mark says, welcome, Mark. Gypsy supplied the knife to Nicholas that was used while hiding in the bathroom.
Right on, man. Right on.
And I believe that knife was found in the bathroom
They
sink.
sent it. No, she sent it. So
Oh, that's right. She sent it to his parents.
She went to live. They ran
That
to
was
live with
another
his parents, and then calculated and planned putting these knives in an envelope and sending them to the parents' house and taking them there. So they were found at Nicholas's parents' house. And so there's no planning there. There's no thought process. Like, you can't convince me that she wasn't aware of what she was doing by doing something like that. I mean, that takes some thought. You didn't just dispose of it. You sent it to the address you were planning on going to. Like, that to me is another just wow.
Right. She's
wow
when I was a little kid, John Gotti had Castellano killed. You want that power, you want that money, man.
Yeah.
She's a little manipulator. There's no doubt.
She's just taken no responsibility in the murder at all. There's no remorse. There's no accountability. And then it's when you see her cry over it, there's no tears. There's no tears whatsoever. It's, I wish I hadn't hurt my mom.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't hurt my mom. Literally like that. There's no tears. It's not real emotion. And so I just feel like she feels like she got away with this. Like, oh, I got a couple years and I'm good to go. I'm 32. I can live my life. She's young. She's got her whole life ahead of her.
Mm-hmm.
It was a slap on the wrist.
It was. Absolutely. Agree.
Yeah, I feel if I hand you a murder weapon and it has been planned out, which we've seen, there's tons of evidence showing it was planned out, it was premeditated, and I hand you the weapon in the house that this murder is going to take place, I should get a little more than 8 years in comparison to the life in prison that this kid's getting.
All right.
That and the Facebook posts afterwards. So if that doesn't
the bitch is dead.
Yeah. One, you posted the bitch is dead, no remorse. You were happy about the murder. You listened to her die and then still posted that. That shows you had no remorse for what happened, no emotion regarding what happened, in any way sympathetic to your mom. Yep. But then the next post was you setting up your next plan. Basically, you put that I killed the mom and then I raped her daughter. He didn't post that. Gypsy admittedly posted that. Why did you post that? Why did you post I killed her and then I raped the daughter? So you were setting up your next plan to make it seem like this guy planned all this. He wanted to run away with you. He took advantage of you. You have video footage showing he was not taking advantage of you. No one was taking advantage of you. You were taking advantage of him. And you had already set up a whole nother plan to try to cover all that up. And if that doesn't show master manipulation, I don't know what does.
Right on.
Yeah.
This
and let's not forget, Dee Dee was almost decapitated.
Yeah.
And stabbed 17 times.
Yeah.
This was very much an overkill.
Yep.
I mean,
this
a couple times in the chest will probably do it, or you just slit the throat if you're going to go as far as almost decapitate the woman.
This reeks of the Bernardo and Carla Homolka case up in Canada, where she got, what was it, 5 years, 6 years or something like that, even though they both brutally murdered a bunch of girls and stuff, and he's serving life in prison. And it reeks of it. And, I don't want to say it's because she's a woman. I'm just wanting to say it's because she is a manipulator. Yeah, I think she knows how to manipulate herself through a lot of stuff. Like you said, she was taught by the best. And she's still doing it. 5 million fans of nothing but manipulated people who think that this person is decent when she hasn't come out and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry for doing this." Nothing.
Yeah, it's she's playing that victim role. That victim role has been, embedded into our head, and when we say, "Yeah, if my mom did that to me, or this person did that to me, I'd do the same thing." I agree with her. She should, blah blah blah. And granted, yeah, I mean, but even her own dad said, "Man, I can't think of anything that my mom could have done really to, for me to go to that extreme of killing her." Yeah, growing up, being a teenager is tough. And you fucking hate your parents sometimes. Did I ever think about maybe wanting to kill my mom? No.
Right.
And I was a fucked up teenager. I'm still kind of a fucked up 50-year-old, but I mean, even then, that even didn't, cross my mind. It's just, I don't know. She's an evil chick. She should not be, celebritized. Is that a word? Because that sounds like I know what I would say. It is fucking now, right? She shouldn't be made into a celebrity and worshipped, as this cultural, hero.
Right.
It was an act of vigilante, type act, but even so, a life was lost. Regardless, I mean, this woman should have, paid for what she did. Yes, we talk about it a lot on the show. The justice system doesn't always fucking work in the right direction. We know that. We've seen that with Delphi. I think we're seeing that with Cheryl Coker's case. We see that with a lot of cases that, doesn't always, but we can only hope. But that's what they're there for. Send this bitch to feed her to the lions, man.
Mm-hmm.
She should be in prison. Okay. And let that be the outcome. Why
Not
didn't you
decapitated.
go to your mom or go to your dad when you ran away? Why did this all have to mount up? And why didn't you have the balls to take and do it?
All right.
Go kick your mom's ass literally with the leg that she said didn't work all them years.
And after seeing, even after her being released, the relationship she has with her dad, her stepmom, and I'm guessing that's her half sister that they show, she had the support. Had she reached out and said something, she had the family support that could have helped to push the court system along, or could have helped get her out of that environment. Whether the court was involved or not, they could have gotten her away from the mother. And like you said, let the mom rot in jail the rest of her life. I wouldn't have given two fucks about that. Not at all. Let her rot. Okay, she deserved to rot. She didn't deserve to be murdered. There's a difference. And my thing is, even if you feel like she deserved to die, you ruined your life by doing this, and you absolutely deserve the punishment that comes along with ruining your life by murdering somebody. Period. You knew what you were doing. You knew right from wrong. That's what insanity is about. Could you understand what you did? Yes. You absolutely had the mental capacity to understand that what you did was wrong. You were coherent at the time, and that's it. You're guilty.
Right on.
Yeah. And should have gotten a hell of a lot longer than, I think her sentence was 10 years. And after 10 years, she could go up for parole or whatnot. Maybe some good time fell in there because she only did 8. 8 years is probably 10 years is probably what the mom should have got for the amount of abuse that she inflicted on Gypsy. Not being the mastermind behind murdering her mom. That sentence does not fit well with me. It does not sit well. I mean,
imagine how many. Go ahead. Sorry, Kelly.
The bottom line is, the girl does not need to be praised. Regardless of what she did, she's sick. She is absolute. There is no way around not recognizing that this girl is sick. Whether it is you're manipulative or you're just a straight sociopath. No person listens to their parent being murdered in the next room and writes that stuff on Facebook and then goes have a party life and then goes to another family member, so the kid's parents' house or the boyfriend's parents' house, and acts like nothing's wrong. No sane, normal person can do, well, I'm sorry, not sane, I guess she's sane, but no normal functioning person without some type of mental issues is going to be able to just be okay with that and live a normal life after the fact, or go party and joke about it, or make comments about it like that on Facebook as if you just slain a pig, you know, like that's not normal. So why are you praising this girl and making her seem like a celebrity, regardless of whether or not she was abused, regardless of whether or not she's wrong for murdering her mother? She's not healthy. Why are you praising the fact that she is not healthy and she's not getting help? That is not okay.
Right on.
And that's our society.
Wait until all the book deals come and thrown at her in the TV Lifetime movies. And,
she's gonna be rich from it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
no doubt. It's a shame.
Yep.
Yeah,
I guess her mother's life didn't mean nothing. Just like Cheryl Coker's life didn't seem to mean nothing. Just like Abby and Libby's life doesn't really seem to mean nothing to people. It's par for the course, man. 2024 now. It's going to get even worse. I fear. I fear.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing happened with Manson, but I mean, if you said, I'm really interested in Charles Manson, and you stand up for him and say he's not a murderer, he didn't murder anybody. If anything, he's guilty of manipulation. Okay, fine, he's charismatic, but these people also have a mind of their own. His family, the Manson family, they also had a mind of their own, but they were weak individuals. Okay, are we seeing the correlation in, the same thing going on? He was, Nicholas, apparently had, some form of autism, did not have the mentality of what his age was.
Right.
He was a little slower, and kind of like the Manson family. I mean, they didn't have autism, I don't know, but they were, looking for someone, to make them feel whole, just like he was looking for someone to make him feel whole. And that's why he did it. 0 questions asked. I'll do it for my love because I want to be with, Gypsy, and her mom won't let her, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Gypsy, Mark says Gypsy refused counseling while in prison.
Shocker.
Because she doesn't think there's anything wrong with her. Just like her
Which
mom
is
didn't
what is
think there was
exactly
anything
wrong
with her.
Right.
Like,
she thinks nothing's wrong with her, but that's actually what the fuck is wrong with you.
Most sociopaths don't think there's anything wrong with them. Just
Exactly.
about every sociopath thinks there's nothing wrong with them. They're narcissists that believe they're top dog, and that's how she is. She's thinks there's absolutely nothing wrong with her, and right there shows there is something fucking wrong with you. We all know we have something wrong with us, okay? We're not scared to admit it. If you're gonna sit there and say there's nothing wrong with you after you contributed to a murder, there's something fucking wrong with your brain. Like, there's no nice way of putting it. And I just want to say, Bobby finally got what he wanted. Every day it's, what are we talking about in Trill Crime? Manson. He snuck him in there.
That's like the running joke. What are we talking about today? Charles Manson. And there's been so many shows done on Charles Manson. We would probably never do a show on Manson, but he's going to come into the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be like a Where's Waldo? I think I said, like, we're going to throw in Manson in every show. You just have to wait to hear it. It's a little game you can play.
There's always a little something to learn from Manson, man.
There is.
It's a true story. What a fucking character, man. But he was not a serial killer or a killer at all.
Right.
I can't wrap my head around how someone like that can be called a serial killer, but then you can have a celebrity made out of this girl. Like, I can't get it.
Same shit.
My brain must be broken because I'm not operating on the same wavelength as our
Oh, your
society, I
brain's not broken.
guess.
Woke is the problem, and it's everywhere, and that's the problem. Your brain's not broken. You're still a good mind. Most people's
Thank
aren't
you.
though. 5 million people are following this girl, being like, "Oh, you're so great. Oh, you was abused." She became the abuser, man.
Yeah.
But where do you draw the line? What if her mom was abused and she killed her?
I
Is
am
there,
thankful there are some people not falling for the bullshit, like you said, Otis. And I don't know if you have the comments pulled up and you want to read
yeah,
some of them, like you had mentioned. Sorry, we probably have kept babbling and I keep cutting everybody off, so that's my fault too.
you're awesome,
But
Kelly.
there are, thank you. You guys are like my biggest fan club. You make me feel so good about myself. Thank you. But no, there are quite a few people out there that are not falling for the bullshit too, and I appreciate that, and I'm thankful that there are people like-minded. Not saying that other people can't have their opinion, like you said, that's okay. My fear is that you're falling into the same trap having that opinion. Not saying you're wrong for that opinion, just be aware and be cautious with that opinion, because in the end it might bite you in the ass. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, and either way, I think you're creating an unhealthy relationship surrounding this girl, and she needs help. She absolutely needs psychological help. And so you're not wrong for your opinion. I'm not saying that, because we're here, like you said, to be open-minded and discuss it. But at the same time, be aware of what you're breeding, because in the end, this girl is sick and she needs help. And I am thankful that there are people that are still skeptical out there and are not being blind sheep, just following, and they are saying, hey, don't praise this girl. Yes, I get she was abused, but don't praise her. This is going to cause more damage than good. Be aware of what you're creating. So
Yeah, absolutely. I do have some of the comments up, and the comments
Right on.
are from the video that we played in the beginning, about her fans. First one, top of the list. For the first time in her life, she's getting to truly live. I wish her nothing but the best. I hope she acclimates to okay, since she wasn't free with her mom or in prison. I wish her the best. She deserves it. Gypsy is a clever mastermind, people, and are underestimating her. I'm not condoning her mother's actions, but she was clever enough to solicit her then boyfriend to kill her mother rather than herself. And she's
that
now
one,
profiting off of the situation.
Right on.
that one right there.
Yeah.
That's my stance.
Now that's not woke. That's awake.
Yeah.
That's a wait. I wish her and her husband all the best. Just another one. I understand why y'all are acting like she should be a celebrity. Makes me worry for what's next. If she was able to text the boy to line this crime up, she could have called for help or ran away. Let's be real. Look at the fact
Ding,
of
ding,
how much she's loving the attention, wanting to meet Kim K and Taylor Swift.
yeah,
and they'll meet her.
That's the other thing. You got your nails done, your makeup on. Hey, keep watching. Keep watching. I think that's the part that really just drove it home for me at the end. Keep watching. Keep watching. This is my life. It's so fun. Keep praising me. You should not be looking for that. Why are you looking for that? Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. When I heard, oh, you want to find out what's coming up next and how me and my husband are doing? No, I don't. I'm more worried about me and my marriage. Why would I give a shit about your marriage?
You
I mean,
watch and see,
that's
guys.
just, they have the dumbass shows all the time anyway, and she's just going to jump right into the idiocracy, watchmepoop.com. That's what I'm going to start. Anybody want to watch me curl one around the U-bend? I'm going live in about 30 minutes. Let me let these energy drinks boil up real quick.
Oh shit! I wish I could join you, brother, but
that sounds kind of on the fun
But
side.
you watch and see. The West Memphis Three. They had Johnny Depp. They had Pearl Jam. They had the Dixie Chicks coming out in support of them and stuff. You'll see this girl will be on stage with Taylor Swift. You will see it.
Oh, probably.
Oh, absolutely. And the crowd of hundreds of thousands of people applauding her. And that's exactly what her mom wanted. And that's exactly what she wants.
Hell, the Swifties can help pay for her plastic surgery next. I'm sure that'll be the next thing going on in there.
Yeah.
I can't get with the program, I guess. I don't know. And it's not that I think I'm better than anyone else, because believe me, I'm far from thinking that way. It's not that I think I'm smarter than anyone else. I just think that we're living in a dangerous society that worships absolutely the wrong things. We are worshiping and praising the wrong things in this world, and that's why it is the way it is.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
mhm.
I don't like
have,
this girl, Gypsy. I'm just going to be straight up with,
yeah.
you know, if she served her time and people agree with that, that's fine and stuff. But me, I think she's a master manipulator, just like her mother, man. And I'm not believing anything that comes out of her mouth. Don't matter to me. I'm an old school guy anyway. Who cares what a 47-year-old man has to say? But y'all are living in a fucking weird way.
Yeah.
You know, when this girl will probably be celebrated and shit, and there's a dead body laying on it. There's a reason why a person like Bill Coker isn't in fucking prison. And it's because of woke.
Yeah. It's one of your New Year's resolutions, ain't it?
Yep. No more woke bullshit, man. Fuck all y'all.
It terrifies me that my kids are going to be raised in this world. It really does. Like, that is something I think about constantly, that I just hope that they don't take on the views of everybody around them. Like, they're very unique right now. They're very they believe what they want to believe, and they'll give you their opinion, and they don't give a shit what you think. They'll listen to your opinion just like us, but they're staying straight to what they believe. And I hope it stays that way, because society as a whole is not like that, and it is scary. It is so scary.
You know, I've done a lot of thinking on this stuff, and like I said, as a Christian, I'm not pushing Christianity on you, but Kurt, you know, Otis, you know that, brother. You know, I don't do it to you. I don't do it to anybody. You know, but I just have my beliefs that your truth comes from your morals. There is no other way. If you have no morals, you have no truth, because what are you standing on? My truth comes from, is it morally good or bad? Is killing somebody morally good or bad? You know, and it's bad to me, morally. But some people don't see it that way. Then maybe segregation is the fucking key, and maybe woke people need to live on their own side of the country. I don't know. But I think this Gypsy girl, to me, is coming across as a complete manipulator. I'm not falling for it as an old man. First of all, she's not attractive enough for me to go the way of a Casey Anthony and go, you know what? She's guilty as shit, but I would still fuck her. You know, all my friends do.
That was for the morning show, Bobby. No.
And I'm just saying, I've had people say this shit to me.
Yeah, I believe
and,
it.
Like that makes her unguilty or something. I don't get it. I don't get
unguilty. There's a new word for you.
But this one isn't even of that yoke. So I don't know. I'm beating my head against the fucking wall. It's 2024. We got a lot more of this stuff coming, guys. We have a lot more good shows coming up this year, baby. I guarantee it.
Her new husband, is it really for love, or does he see the fortune of fame coming his way? I believe it is.
Like, where did he come from? How did you guys? And I know that's the new show coming out. How did we meet? That's
she
the new
must have.
thing.
She must have immediately got out of fucking prison and immediately went on to cuckolds.com. That's all. That's the only way I can explain it.
Oh gosh.
I don't get it. I personally don't understand. She's an awful, evil manipulator to me, and I don't see how 5 million people are not seeing it. Or me, if I'm wrong, God strike me down. See? I win.
No, I agree with you, CW. I think there's something weird in the water there. Something's odd about that whole situation. Where did he come from? Why is he here? How come nobody had a clue who the fuck he was till 3 days ago? It just, none of that makes sense to me. And I don't know. And if they're both manipulators, they're good for each other. Let them have each other. But let them have each other in peace. We don't give a fuck what they're doing. Take care of themselves. You know, like I don't think
to answer in part Mark's question. This is going back in the chat. CW mentioned he's a special education needs teacher.
She needs.
She needs.
shit.
Is that real? Is that true? Is that like, is that a joke?
That's what CW mentioned, that she heard that he is a special education, special needs.
What a fucked up case.
Yeah, I just can't. Every case we cover.
Where was he before all this happened?
Oh gosh, my brain feels so overloaded sometimes, like watching this stuff from these cases. Like I was telling you guys the other night when we were messaging, I'm like, the anxiety building up inside of me listening to these people talk. Like,
yeah,
I can't wrap my head around the thought process. I just can't.
Well, that's why I picked a song to go out on. You know, it's possible that YouTube will flag me for it and probably mute that part of it. But I feel that it's very fitting. So if you live, feel you know, hey, you're in the right place at the right time, because you may not see it again once it's put out there. So with that being said, another edition of Trill Crime in the books. I have sent Miss Tina Wilson a message. She is one of Cheryl Coker's longtime friends, one of her best friends. And we are hoping. She was a little sick the last time. She had COVID, I believe, the last time that she was supposed to be on. Then the holidays were creeping in. So she wanted to put it off till after the first of the year. So I sent her a message. We'll get that all straight, because I want to dive back into Cheryl. The weather's going to start breaking. Kelly Tutrill and Lozilla are going to come out to this neck of the woods.
That'd be awesome
in March. So hopefully the weather is pretty decent. We got a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, Kelly, you could be here. You and Los could be here. All of us could be right here. Oh, I got enough mic stands. I think.
At Costco. I hope you guys realize that.
Like, we're going.
Itching to walk into Costco and see this guy.
And I just want to say, since no real justice is probably going to be done in that Cheryl Coker case, I just want you to know, Bill, I'll be your Huckleberry, motherfucker.
Bang, finger guns. They're coming back.
Yeah, I got you, boy.
Happy New Year's to you. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year to you, Ruby Slippers, and everybody in the chat, and everybody listening to the replay.
Fucking love Ruby.
Happy New Year's, guy. And boy, do I have a treat for you guys. All right, so we'll see you guys. I got to put us all in the back, because it's got to be full screen.
Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, garbage dump. Why you called a garbage dump? Oh, garbage dump. Oh, garbage dump. Why you called a garbage dump? You could feed the world with my garbage dump. You could feed the world with my garbage dump. You could feed the world with my garbage dump. That sums it up in one big lump. When you're living on the road and you think sometimes you're starving, get on off that trip, my friend. Just get them cans and start carving. Oh, garbage dump, my garbage dump. Why are you called my garbage dump? Garbage dump, my garbage dump. Why are you called my garbage dump? There's a market basket and an AMP. I don't care if the box boys are standing me. I don't even care who wins the war. I'll be in them cans behind my favorite store. Garbage dump, oh, garbage dump. Why are you called a garbage dump? Garbage dump, oh, garbage dump. That sums it up in one big long. I claim all these garbage dumps in the name of the garbage pickers. Garbage pickers of America. Oh, but it smells.